A short clip posted on X, formerly Twitter, by user @Jianmiguji has gone viral among ARMYs, showing BTS's Jungkook fist-bumping one of his dancers backstage moments before performing his solo hit 7. There were no cameras rolling for a reality show, no dramatic build-up, just a brief, sincere show of connection between artist and colleague, and fans couldn't stop talking about it. "This is why we stay," one fan posted in response. "It's not just about his voice or his dancing. It's the way he treats people with genuine kindness." Another fan wrote, "Jungkook is the kind of person who remembers that without the team, there's no performance. That fist bump, it says everything about who he is." In a world where many celebrities become increasingly distant from the people who support them, on stage and off, Jungkook continues to lead by example. Known globally for his talent and stage presence, he also carries a deep reputation behind the scenes for being warm, approachable, and respectful to everyone around him. It's no surprise, then, that this small gesture quickly resonated with millions, though 7, released on July 14th, 2023, marked Jungkook's official solo debut and achieved massive commercial success worldwide, topping charts and breaking streaming records. Moments like this are what make fans stay loyal beyond the music. The fist bump reminded them that behind the polished performances and record-breaking numbers is still the same young man who smiles at staff members, jokes with backup dancers, and bows deeply to fans and crew alike. Colleagues who have worked with Jungkook often describe him as quietly attentive and deeply respectful. He's not one to dominate rooms with ego, but rather to create an environment where everyone feels seen. This culture of humility, rooted in BTS's team values, shines most clearly when Jungkook is in his element. Creating, performing, and connecting. The moment also comes as Jungkook resumes public appearances following his military discharge on June 11, 2025. His surprise joint performance with J-Hope at the Hope on the Stage tour final recently made headlines, further fueling anticipation for a full BTS reunion. But even as the global spotlight intensifies again, it's these moments, small, sincere, human, that continue to define his legacy. Because for ARMY, loyalty isn't built on charts alone, it's built on character. And Jungkook, in the quiet of a backstage hallway, showed once again that greatness isn't just in how loudly you perform, but in how softly you lead. What struck fans the most about Jungkook's fist bump wasn't the act itself, it was what it symbolized. In that second, caught quietly on camera, was the essence of someone who has never let global superstardom dilute his humanity. For many ARMYs, especially those who have followed Jungkook since BTS's early days, the moment served as a time capsule. They recalled the teenage boy who bowed to every staff member, who stayed behind after rehearsals to help clean up, who apologized when he accidentally bumped into a cameraman during a chaotic awards show red carpet. That humility didn't vanish with fame, it deepened. "He still sees people," one fan wrote. That's rare in this industry. Jungkook's ability to remain grounded while his name dominates global headlines is part of what makes him more than an idol. He's a symbol of what happens when kindness and success coexist. Whether it's sharing food with dancers, adjusting a staff member's mic cord mid-interview, or now, giving a casual but heartfelt fist bump, Jungkook reminds people that respect doesn't require grand gestures. It lives in the everyday moments we choose to honor others. Critics and fans alike have long praised his work ethic and natural talent, but increasingly, it's his quiet leadership that earns the most admiration. Even as a soloist, he continues to operate as part of a team, one that includes not just bandmates, but every person behind the scenes. In an industry where image can be everything, Jungkook offers something different: substance. And perhaps that's why 7 wasn't just a successful solo debut. It was a statement about maturity, independence, and a new chapter that doesn't forget the pages that came before it. Fans weren't just cheering for the artist who sang the global summer anthem. They were cheering for the boy they've grown up with, who has evolved into a man who leads with empathy. As ARMY looks ahead to more content from Jungkook, be it music, live performances, or perhaps the long-awaited full BTS reunion, they carry this moment with them. It's the kind of memory that doesn't make headlines but makes a home in people's hearts, because for every stadium Jungkook fills, for every award he wins, for every record he breaks, It's the small moments like this that prove why his connection with fans remains unshakable. He doesn't just entertain, he sees. He respects. He remembers. And that, more than any choreography or chorus, is why ARMY stays. There are countless moments in an artist's life that get captured by cameras, sold-out stages, music video close-ups, trophy smiles. But every once in a while, it's the unscripted ones, the blink-and-you'll-miss-it ones, that say the most. The fist bump between Jungkook and a dancer backstage may not make international headlines. It won't be broadcast at award shows. It wasn't choreographed or rehearsed. But for the people who saw it, for the millions of fans watching his every move, it was everything that IT reminded them of why they've stayed, why they've waited, why they've defended him, supported him, grown with him. Because in that one gesture lived years of proof that Jungkook's heart has never been changed by the weight of his fame. If anything, it's grown steadier, stronger, quieter, and more grounded. His humility is not performative. It is lived, daily, naturally. And in a world saturated with image, that authenticity stands out like gold. ARMY didn't fall in love with a machine. They fell in love with a person who sings yes, who dances yes, but also who listens, who laughs with his team, who thanks his stylists, who fist bumps his dancers before the lights come up, who bows even when the cameras are off. That's the story fans carry with them. And that's the reason they stay, because for every million-stream milestone and global headline, there is Jungkook, the same young man they met on screen all those years ago. Now older, wiser, more independent, but still quietly bowing to the people around him. Still recognizing that the journey isn't walked alone. And for ARMY, that's the real gift. It's not just the performances or the music. It's the trust, the mutual respect, the quiet moments when Jungkook says, without words, "I see you too." So maybe it was just a fist bump. But to those who understand him, really understand him, it was far more. It was a promise kept. And that's why they'll keep walking with him. Through every stage, every silence, every comeback. Because in every version of Jungkook, his heart stays the same. And for ARMY, that's always been enough. As the lights rise and fall across concert stages worldwide, as the cheers echo in arenas and countdowns dominate streaming charts, Jungkook walks his journey in two directions at once, toward greatness and toward humility. He continues to evolve as an artist, and yet, he remains grounded as a human being. That fist bump, that small flicker of sincerity, was never meant to be a statement. It was instinct. It was heart. It was Jungkook in his truest form, not the performer, not the idol, but the person. The one who knows that respect doesn't begin when the curtain rises or end when the music stops. The one who understands that leadership doesn't always need a microphone and that love can be communicated without a single word. That moment will not live in a documentary or become the subject of interviews. It won't trend forever, but it will stay with those who saw it, who understood what it meant, because ARMY isn't just a fan base. It's a mirror. It reflects the energy Jungkook gives, the character he holds, and the values he lives. And when he offers kindness, even in passing, they remember. They archive it in their hearts. They speak of it not as fans of a star, but as witnesses to someone trying, always, to do the right thing in a world that makes that increasingly rare. Maybe tomorrow will bring another headline, a new teaser, a comeback poster. The noise will return, as it always does, but beneath it, quietly and steadily, will be that simple reminder. Jungkook sees people, and the world sees him back, not just for the music, not just for the fame, but for moments like this, moments that remind us all what it means to shine without ever needing to outshine others. ARMY stays. Not because he's perfect, but because he's real. And in this world, that's rarer than any record. Somewhere, after the stage lights fade and the world quiets down, Jungkook is just a young man walking off a set. He wipes his face with a towel. He changes out of his performance outfit. Maybe he takes a deep breath. Maybe he says thank you to the last dancer as they leave the rehearsal room. Maybe no one records it. Maybe no one claps. And maybe that's the point. For every second captured on camera, there are 1,000 more that aren't. Moments when Jungkook chooses kindness because it's who he is, not because anyone's watching. He's not performing decency. He's living it. This is what fans feel. It's why that simple fist bump hit so deeply. It wasn't because it was loud, it was because it was real. It spoke to something fans have known in their hearts for years, that the person they've chosen to love and support through years of change, growth, and fame is still the same at his core. And in a world where people rise and fall overnight, where authenticity is often a costume, Jungkook is quietly, stubbornly himself. He sings, he bows, he builds, he lifts others. He walks backstage and extends his hand, not for applause, but for connection. That is what makes him shine in a way that charts can't measure. Fans have seen him at his highest. They've watched him break records, perform in front of oceans of light, and redefine what it means to be a global star. But they've also seen him sit on the floor of hotel rooms during live streams, sing softly into his phone at 3 a.m., or laugh with his eyes closed during rehearsals. These moments, like the fist bump, are the reasons they stay, because he stays grounded, present, honest. And so, if you ask ARMY why they followed Jungkook, not just as a performer but as a person, they won't mention the trophies. They won't quote the stats. They'll talk about this, about how one fist bump, one quiet act of warmth, reminded them that love can be soft and lasting. That fame doesn't have to harden you, that you can rise and still reach back for the people around you. This is why they stay, not because of spectacle, but because of sincerity, not because he performs, but because he sees, and in seeing others, he teaches them how to see themselves, with grace, with gentleness, and with the unwavering belief that who you are, even in the smallest moments, will always matter most. And somewhere, perhaps far from the cameras, Jungkook might never know the ripple that small moment created. He might never see how fans wrote full threads about a single gesture. He might never read how someone who was having a hard day smiled just because they saw him fist bump a dancer. He might never know that, for some, it wasn't just a sweet interaction, it was proof that goodness still exists in people with power. That warmth can survive success. But maybe he doesn't need to know. Maybe that's what makes it all real, because this kind of sincerity doesn't ask for applause. It simply exists, quietly, softly, continuously. Jungkook walks through the world differently. He doesn't force anyone to follow, but people do. Not because he demands it, but because he leads with integrity. And that, more than anything, is what defines a legacy. Not just the headlines, not just the records, but the lives touched in passing. And so ARMY stays, not out of duty, not out of trend, but because they see something in him that reflects the best of what they hope to be: kind, grounded, brilliant, and above all, human. One fist bump, one gesture, one heartbeat between artist and the world. It's enough. Because when someone continues to choose kindness in a world that so often forgets it, that person becomes more than a star. They become a light. And Jungkook has never stopped shining. And even if that moment fades from timelines, even if the post is buried under thousands of others in the days to come, it will stay where it matters most, in the quiet archives of the heart, because that's where Jungkook has always lived. Not just on playlists or stages, but in the moments when people feel seen, held, understood. In the hearts of those who've watched him grow, not just into a performer, but into a person who continues to walk through fame without letting it harden him. Into someone who, even when the world asks for spectacle, still chooses sincerity. That is his power, that is his poetry. And in return, fans offer the same: quiet loyalty. Not always loud, not always visible, but unwavering. They cheer, yes, but more than that, they wait. They protect. They believe. Because loving Jungkook isn't about following everything he does. It's about following the way he is. The world often mistakes fame for distance, forgetting that those who shine brightest are often still reaching out. Not for attention, but for connection. Jungkook's fist bump wasn't just a gesture. It was a signal. I'm still here. I haven't forgotten how we began. And with it, he reminds fans of the thread that ties them all together. Not noise, but nuance. Not fandom, but family. There will be more songs, there will be more moments, there will be more stages and silences and seasons. But this This will remain because kindness has no expiration date, and neither does love. Like this SO army continues, not behind him, not in front of him, but with him, step by step, stage by stage, moment by moment. Because Jungkook is not just someone they follow, he's someone they walk beside, and in every small gesture, every quiet act of grace, he says what words cannot. I
see you.
And the world answers back. We always have.